Good day, Internet people. Deck profile time. As you can see from, hang on, I'm filming this upside down, so it'd be down here. There you go. It's my Giggle Shadows, which were shown on a video against Phil's Witches, where I'm pretty sure they got their butts trounced.
Well, you expect it with the Giggles deck.
Yeah, well, this is why it was built. This is another one of my Vanguard on a shoestring decks. It was built on so cheap, just for a giggle.
You're very fond of your experimenting, tweaking and fiddling, aren't you?
Especially at a bargain price.
Yeah.
Right, so as you notice, it's Shadow, so let's start with the starter. The starter is Promising Knight David, and as you can see, Island 2. Promising Knight David's skill is GB1. When you are retiring your regards for the cost of a unit's ability, you know what the Shadow Paladins do all the damn time. Retiring this unit may be regarded as retiring as 2. So GB1, he is literally 2 for the price of 1. Buy 1, get 1 retiring free. Which is quite useful in this deck. Triggers. Now, because this is a Giggle Bargain basement deck, none of the triggers actually do anything, so they were picked purely on cosmetic value. Right. And that's why you will notice. Oh, actually one was picked because of its usefulness. Right, so that's why I run 2 copies of Witch of Black Doves Gawain? Yep, that's why I'm running her, because she looks pretty even though this deck doesn't run Legion. So when people say, why are you running this crit because you don't run Legion? I run not because of this, I run because of this. This is my vanity deck, the vanity triggers. Again, 4 copies of Black Crow Witch Iana? I don't know. Again, purely for the fact it's a crit and for the way it looks. Two copies of Cursed Eye Raven. Now, these are the 2 cards that I ran for its ability, not for its looks. So, GB1, rest this unit and put this unit on top of your deck and shuffle your deck. So, top of your deck, shuffle your deck. Look at the top 2 cards from amongst the deck, search for up to 2 from among them, call them to separate open rear guards at rest. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order, and at the end of turn, retire any units called with this effect. So basically, this thing calls out retiring fodder. Because if you don't retire it by the end of the turn, they're going to retire themselves anyway. Next, 4 copies of Lizard Witch Iana.
Yeah, something like that.
Huh. Some of these triggers have the same last name. Never noticed that. Have the same name. Again, picked purely for its look. And finally, the heel trigger, Witch of Black Cat's Milkra. Once again, picked purely for the looks.
You're so Shadow. Oh my god.
What? I might as well pick the cards that look cute.
I know, I was just thinking so.
Right, where are we? Here you go, grey ones. Glado ones. Let's start with the basics. 4 copies of Karma Collector. Unflipping Perth. You may be thinking, hang on, how come these count as bargains? Because I got this entire playset for 20 quid. Bargain. 4 copies of Ditch for Stride. It also finds Claret Sword, that's the word. I was going to say Claring Sword. I've been watching that anime. It's Pandora's Box too much. Claret Sword, but Claret Sword isn't in this deck, so he's a Ditch for Stride. This is a stride-focused deck. It needs the strides for most of its strategies, so I need the strides. Another part of this strategy are 2 of the Shadow Paladin Limit Break removers. You'll see why later on. And finally, probably one of the best grade ones in this deck is 4 copies of Night Sky Eagle, who at GB1, on the turn he is placed, he gains +4, which makes him an 11. Quite useful in this deck when partnered up with another card. Grade 2s. 2 copies of Fair Night Growl. Vanilla 10s. Because it's a vanilla 10. Next card. Fresh from GB Tier 4, 4 copies of Knights of Brawn, Grozny. Some of these names are so hard to pronounce, and I thought Nuba Thomas was hard to pronounce. GB1, when a unit is called that's a grade less than him, so it has to be a grade 2 or grade 0, grade 1 or grade 0, sorry, he gains +3. Nice, easy, +3, and particularly if you partner up with these two when they're at GB Tier 1, call him behind him. He's an 11, he gains +3, makes him 12, 23, easy.
Awesome.
And finally, 4 copies of Dark Knight Maiden Maka. And you will notice that she is the common version of the card, because as I said, this is a bargain basement giggle deck. If I ever have the spare funds, I'll probably switch to the shiny version, but I've got the common version of her. Counterblast 1 on a GB1. When she's boosted, look for your deck for a grade 1, call it to a rear guard, and shuffle your deck, you know. I thought if you ever build an extreme deck, partner her up with a Knight of Twin Sword from the Royals, it's like perfect. She finds grade 1, he finds grade 2s. Grade 3s. Now, for any of you who are have been around the channel for long, you will have heard me ranting about the Shadow Paladin Legend deck. Now, the Legend deck isn't what I hated. What I hated was people just buying the deck and using the deck, and that's it. Not experimenting with it. As you've just noticed, Maka is in this deck. There is another card from the Legend deck in here. 3 copies of Blaster Dark Diablo. GB 2 skill. When you are paying the cost for a stride, if the G unit you're striding has a blaster in its card name, all your cards in your hand get grade +3, so you can ditch anything to pay for a cost of stride. And during your turn, when your Dark Dragon, Phantom Blaster Diablo strides, choose one of your opponent's raid cards and retire it. When you consider him he's quite a generic card. He only works with certain cards, but he is a foreshadowing for what's to come. And by the way, he's not the main grade 3 of this deck. 2 copies of Illusionary Revenger Mordred Phantom. Going old school here with the old Shadow Paladin Break Ride from Season 3.
Classic.
Classy. And for all those new players who are thinking just said Break Ride, what's a Break Ride? A Break Ride is when you ride a grade 3 on top of a certain grade 3 and you run 4 or more damage, unless you have limit break removers. His limit break skill is Counterblast 1. When a Shadow Paladin rides this unit, you may pay the cost if you do choose your Vanguard until the end of the turn. That unit gains plus 10,000. You know, bog standard for a Break Ride. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 or less Shadow Paladin, call it to a rear guard, shuffle your deck, and that unit gains plus 5,000 power at the end of turn. And also this ability, this card has, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gains +2. Which means, in the words of Lena, that's Break Rides. Because the skill finds finds grade 2s or grade 1s. And finally, this is the main card of the deck. Shadow Blaze Dragon. Shadow Blaze Dragon was, of course, a promo. Some of you may have pulled him in a set and gone, "Wow, this card's rubbish." Well,
because he is.
Limit Break 4, Counterblast 1. Choose two of your Shadow Paladin rear guards and retire them. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards and retire them. Now, why do I run this card as my main Vanguard? Right, so, first off, let me find a copy of him. Right, there we go. First off, Limit Break Remover, which means this ability can be used at any point in the game and he only costs a Counterblast of 1. Other reason why I use this combo is because of David. Counterblast 1, retire 1, retire 2. All benefits, and you can pick any of their rear guards and retire them. You can take out the 2 grade 2s at the front, the interceptors, bang, gone. You can take out an entire column, bang, gone. If you really want to pee off a Neo-Nectar player, just take out 2 of the cards with the same name on different areas of the... Just get rid of them. Gone. He can retire 2 cards for a Counter Blast of 1 when you combine it with David. And 1 card. That's again, you're benefiting. It does require it to be on the GB1. This, as you notice, this deck requires GB1, so of course I will slides. 2 copies of Dark Knight Effinsian. Blooming heck, these names.
Hey, you pick the cards.
It's gone haywire. Get back here. I know I don't use you, but that doesn't mean you can run away. Choose one of your rear guards and retire it. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do until the end of turn, this unit gains 7,000 power, and when this unit attack hits, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. I'll be honest, I don't use him. He is used if I need to G-assist. That's why he's here. The card I do use, 2 copies of Grim Recruiter. Grim Recruiter was of course a promo in the Legend deck. And blooming hard to get hold of. These 2 had to be imported from the US of A. These cards had to be imported from. Right. When this unit attack hits Vanguard, search your deck for it to 1 grade 1 or less. Call it to rear guard and shuffle your deck. Pretty standard. He's normally the first stride. And the main stride of this deck, as of course you have seen, Blaster Dark Diablo, which means I obviously run this. Dark Dragon, Phantom Blaster, Diablo. Again, the common version because this is a cheap deck. And eventually I will get the shiny versions just when I've got the money spare. Right. Well, you can only use this once per turn. And Counter Blast 1, choose a face down card named Dark Dragon, Phantom Blaster Diablo from your G-Zone, turn it face up. If the number of cards in your G-Zone is 2 or more, until the end of the turn, this unit gets plus 1,000 power and 10,000 power and 1 crit. And also, choose 3 of your rear guards and retire them. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent may choose 2 of his or her rear guards and retire them. If 2 of the rear guards were not retired, your opponent cannot guard.
Well.
So, if you're ever facing a Shadow Paladin player who runs him, be wary of your rear guards and make sure you've always got rear guards on your field. If you are a player using him, target your opponent's rear guards, which is what this deck does. It whittles down rear guards. Okay. That's my Giggles Shadow Paladin deck, internet people. Comment down below what you think of it. Comment down below if you want to hate it. Comment down below if you have any suggestions to improve it. All hate or suggestions are welcome.
Particularly your hate.
Shh.
Sorry.
Goodbye, internet people.
Goodbye.